Previously on Twitter and FA Notes. Immediately change your character's gender, which would in turn mean that your rabbit character is a male. I am incredibly displeased at this fact, and if you do not take this request lightly, then I shall be forced to debate you on this matter. And believe me, you do not want to debate me. I am unparalleled in intellect, reasoning, and wit, and have not been mind-changed on a point once. But you treat me with such flippant disregard that you cannot even muster an intellectual reply to me? I deserve much better. I have seen your character's female form in one of my prophetic dreams, although only a singular snapshot. Be straight! Remove yourself from your consort. Be straight! Remove yourself from your consort. It is wrongful. It is wrongful. Bring your culture back. Bring your heritage back. Hey everybody, this is Tujo Panda back in action. We're going to talk about something a little bit different today. So, imagine that you're an artist in the furry fandom, and that you have your own predefined fursona. A fursona that maybe has changed a little bit differently over the years, depending on your personal preferences and predilections and taste. However, for the most part, it is what you desire that other people see when you adopt an identity in the furry fandom. So, this particular individual may be close to you, or maybe as far away from you as far as being your idyllic personality and appearance that you desire for yourself, depending on, what you look for in the whole furry fandom sort of thing. I actually think I made a video about that a while back, if you want to take a look what goes into a fursona, or what makes a fursona. But yeah, for the most part, for all intents and purposes, that is your representative avatar in the furry fandom. Now, you are an artist that specializes in particular fetishes or kinks or proclivities, what have you. Something that people know you for, and that you are, either it's a personal preference of your own, or you're simply, accommodating to the people that are willing to commission you. So, one particular artist that comes to mind is Oi Its Joi, and they have a Twitter presence, they have a fur affinity presence. You can look them up sometime. They seem like a fairly decent artist, satisfying the fans. And they picked up one particular fan that took it upon themselves to write them a long letter and message to, make mention of a particular issue that they took up issue with. So if you're not aware, Oi Its Joi came out publicly with this sometime in late March. I remember it being sort of a blip on the radar. Me personally, I was busy with other things at the time, so it kind of passed me by. But fairly recently, I did a bit of a reading on, the grand saga, as it were, because it was a truly bizarre sort of situation here. Here, you have an ardent fan that messages and reaches out to Oi Its Joi. People are split on whether this is an elaborate troll or if this person is actually serious. And me personally, after seeing all the messages and what was actually said, I'm starting to believe it's actually serious. Like, this person had all the time in the world to write a fairly detailed communication to Oi Its Joi and sort of convey their displeasure at the fact of realizing that Oi Its Joi's persona, being male, was male. And they, at this whole time, thought that Oi Its Joi is female, that their persona was female. And, when they realized it was actually a dude that they were fapping to this entire time, they were caught off guard and completely taken aback by this realization and revelation. And, rather than take it lying down, they are going to message their displeasure to Oi Its Joi themselves and demand that they change their gender from male to female to fit their particular worldview. if you actually want to look at the messages, I'll play them briefly here, just so you get a sense of like what was actually said. But I'm also going to be like, I'm also going to be linking my reading a couple days ago. Initially, the reading was going to be the introduction to this video, but the reading ended up taking so damn long. So I took bits and pieces of the most juicy parts that I could, recollect, and decided that would serve as an introductory instead. So yeah, it was, a lot of people circulated this far and wide because it made it onto, a particular Twitter, that specializes in posting public, basically make public of any creepy communications, notes, or what have you, from people from all across the furry fandom. Any private messages that are shared between two people, in which case, usually, generally speaking, one person is either being incredibly pushy, clingy, or, in some cases, crazy, bizarre, or creepy. And, they make that sort of communication public, and people can sort of look at it and just be like, huh, people like those do exist. They really, really do. Anyway, so how did this Oi Its Joi grand saga play out? Well, the person, reaches out in a very detailed message. They basically state that they don't really like the fact that Oi Its Joi's persona is, male, and that they demand that they want that particular person to be female. They appear to be very into vor, and I'm not sure if you know what vor is, but apparently it is a kink/fetish that people are into. It basically means swallowing whole someone else for sexual pleasure. Yeah. Uh-huh. Well, different strokes for different folks, I guess. Anyway. They go on to say that, vor should be a female exclusive power. And that, it's a very convoluted mess. I'm just gonna link the video. You can watch that. I try my best to do a little voice acting, give him a voice, and play some music that sort of matches the temperament of this particular individual. But yeah, it just begs the question why they spent so much time investing, into this particular communication to Oi Its Joi. And Oi Its Joi honestly takes it like a champ, They're just kind of coy about it, and they're just, kind of questioning, what's the deal, bro? What do you want from me? They don't really take them seriously, though. Hence why they posted a lot of these screen caps on Twitter for people to sort of view and mock at their own leisure. Me personally, it's very bizarre, but I've had my encounters with very bizarre people, so it's not that bizarre. It's not beyond the suspension of disbelief. I believe the guy was being incredibly serious, and perhaps took this far more seriously than any rationally sane person would, but the creative side of me can't help but sort of marvel at how this was written, This could be a Saturday morning cartoon villain, honestly, the way that I'm imagining it. But yeah, long story short, well, the communications go back and forth, and eventually, Oi Its Joi says that he was eventually blocked. So after the fourth, maybe fifth communication, he was completely blocked. So the person basically gave up on him. And it was weird. He goes into this, willing to debate Oi Its Joi, the artist, and basically is assured that he's going to get his way. He states that he had seen Oi Its Joi's persona as a female in his prophetic dreams, and that he knows for certain that his debating skills of sharp wit and intelligentsia is going to carry him through in getting his way and wishes. Needless to say, he was in for some disappointment because, well, he basically became the laughingstock of the internet. And I can't really feel bad for the guy because, if you're going to make demands like that, what the hell, dude? You can't just make demands like that of people. One's persona is sort of like their identity in the furry fandom. It's something near and dear that is sacred. And you can't really just come out and say, hey, I was fapping to you this whole time, but then I realized that your persona was actually a dude. Can you change your persona to a female so that I can, maintain my worldviews and my imaginations that you're actually a female? Okay, thanks. Doesn't work that way. But Yeah, so then they turn it into some weird, like, I don't know, like, thing about Western heritage and Western society and Western civilization, and they correlate that, like, being a homophile, as they say so often in the comments, is like an egregious sin, and that, there's no lineage in being a homophile, that one is a walking abortive in being a homophile, and that no family shall ever come out of it. No biological family, maybe, but you can always adopt or have a surrogate mother and adopt the child. There's multiple ways things can go. I mean, it's 2020. Sky's the limit, People can do as they please, as they want, and, live life all the better for it. So, one's, sexual orientation and romantic, predilections are their own, and oh, this guy. Yeah, definitely read the comments. I'll post them here somewhere in the video. Maybe it already happened because in editing I might put it like earlier or later, or I might save it to the end. Who knows? Stay tuned. But yeah, it's just an example, like another example of the various crazy that exists out there on the internet, and something to laugh at and just kind of chuckle at. So just some food for thought, something for you to reflect upon. Maybe you will find something interesting to look at. Maybe you'll just find this whole thing nonsensical and pointless. I'm sure most of us see it both ways. Anyway, there's not a whole lot more to say other than the fact that Oi Its Joi is doing fairly well these days, as far as I can tell. And he got some pretty decent support from his fan base on Twitter, so, and now he's no longer dealing with that homophile guy. Anyway, the homophile guy actually went so far as to call Oi Its Joi, a homophile, an abomination, and a squirrel. And basically saying that, he's not even attracted to Oi Its Joi's character anymore. He looks more like a squirrel. Yeah. Oi Its Joi is a rabbit, by the way. Just putting that out there. Anyway, this is Tujo Panda signing off. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Till next time, take care and peace. I hope you all have a better one.